Show them how you get up in your bag. Show them that swag. What you see is what you get. When I look in the mirror, I'm looking like a man. Like we playing tag bad, I'm the top pick. Show them what you're working with. Break the circuit, be a hit. Go ahead and make them sit. If you gotta hate it, then your purpose is equipped. Tell them catch you later, cause you serving up some grits. Meaning hot with the drip when I drop in the mix. The proof is in the pudding. Show them how you do it. They do it like they shouldn't. You don't need to brag, cause your competition couldn't. You don't need to boast, cause the proof is in the pudding. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them what you got. Show them how you get up in your bag. Show them that swag.
Hello, everybody. Looks like people are filtering in. Everyone's chiming in the chat already. So many people from Florida already.
I love me some Florida people.
I know. I like to say I like the Florida weather, but right now it's been like 90s and 100s here. I need to go somewhere cooler.
It's been 90s and 100s here too, so might as well be in Florida by the beach.
Yeah. So yeah.
Ohio. Hey, Brittany from Ohio.
Austin's in Ohio too.
I need to go to Ohio. I haven't been there. I'll come visit you guys. Ooh, Maine. Hi, Alicia.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, as people are kind of filtering in, I'll kind of hold off on our main intro just so that people don't miss that. But I do have a fun icebreaker question. So I saw this on Facebook. I don't even know how long ago, but I like flagged it and set it as a reminder for today because I was like, I want this to be the icebreaker for Lauren's webinar. So I have a question. It's going to be, if you had to name your child after something photography related, what
Kodak. Kodak. I would name my kid Kodak, 100%. I had a dog named Kodak. So.
I love that. I want to see what people have to say in the chat, but I kept thinking through this. I mean, I've had plenty of time to think through this, but my mind kept going to Canon.
Yeah. That's a real name. I've had those I've had Canons in preschool. Not spelled the same, but I've had them. Pixel would be cool.
What did you say?
Pixel would be cool.
Pixel. Oh, that is a fun one. Amy said Canon. Fixer. That's a fun
I have 5 kids. I need a fixer. Hey, Tracy and John, by the way, there's a vaulter in the house. 2 vaulters in the house. It's super exciting. I also like, I don't know. I'm not going to name my kid Nikon. It's my, and I shoot Nikon.
That one doesn't ring as well. Like it's focus. Ooh, that's a cute one. Yeah, these are fun.
You never know what brands could do, Emily. It could go sideways. It really could. It could go sideways.
Awesome. Okay, I think we do have several people here. So we can kind of get started here with a quick little intro, and then your slides are kind of your whole story of how you got started and where you're at now. So I can leave the slides up to that. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Justin. I am part of the sales team here at PhotoDay. Recently transitioned from the success team, but now I'm kind of focused on all of our new studios in their first year of joining PhotoDay. So I'm really pushing towards getting them activated quickly, making sure they're successful, getting a good strategy in place of how to actually use PhotoDay to their benefit. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then we have Lauren here, who is my guest. I met Lauren, I think we met at SPAC in Vegas this year, right?
We did.
It seems like I've known you, like, I don't even know how many years.
We're soulmates.
We just instantly clicked, and I don't even remember, honestly, our first conversation. It was just acted like we already knew each other. So I'm excited to be here with you.
I'm excited. Yeah. I love that you said that I'm your guest. Like, you're not like my emotional support, my emotional support person. Poor Justin has to deal with me all day, every day. I'm like, Justin, the bubble can tell you, like, it's an immediate, Justin, get me to Justin. So he and the whole PhotoDay team have been incredible. But I'm Lauryn Moore. I have let me see. Let me actually get over here so you guys can see my cutesy headshot. Look at it. So I am the owner of Snap Happy Preschool Photography. I have gotten to, in 2026, gotten to stretch my legs out into the education field and start teaching, and I have loved it. And I will be at Create this December, so you guys are going to have to come because we're going to have a live demo with real children. So the fun thing about that is you absolutely have no idea what's going to happen. So that's going to be super fun. I'm from Alabama. I am married to, it's cliche that I say I'm married to my best friend because I have a lot of best friends, but one of them I happen to, live with, and he's awesome. I have 5 sons. That was not part of the plan. I don't think anybody plans 5 sons, but that's what I have, and not a girl to be found. And I have fallen in love with preschool photography. 4 years ago, a little thing happened to me. I had my son Noah around 36 weeks pregnant. I think that's actually on the next slide. Yeah, we'll go to that one in a minute. So I had my son Noah at 36 weeks pregnant because I had a little something called COVID. And I actually had the Delta variant. I was the first in our area to have the Delta variant. And I ended up on the ventilator. So for 8 whole days. And that was a very scary time. But when I got home, my whole life was going to have to change. Like we were not going to be able to go back to a 9 to 5. It was just, everything had changed for me. I had spent, at that time, I had spent 11 years as a portrait photographer, 12 years as a portrait photographer. I've always photographed children. I've always photographed families. I don't like couples. I don't want to touch your newborn. They freak me out, but children have always been, kind of my bread and butter. And so I started thinking, like, if I'm not going to have a 9 to 5, I got to support all of these children that I have. And so I reached out to a preschool that I actually had worked for previously when I had my first son, and was like, hey, I need money. Can I come take pictures? And let me see. My big thing when I was a portrait photographer was mini sessions. I know a lot of you guys are probably, if you're coming over from the portrait world, I'm sure mini sessions were a big part of at least your genesis at the very beginning. They were huge when I first started, and I ended up being kind of the mini session queen in our area, not knowing how much it was going to benefit me to learn to do these pictures faster. By the time I left portrait photography, my mini sessions, I was charging about $150 for 5 minutes. I had started at like 15 minutes. I got these families down to like 5 minutes. My posing was, if we go longer than that, we're just all going to be staring at each other. So it was really fun for me at the time, being able to engage people, getting them to laugh, getting them to smile really fast, and then moving on. And so again, in 2021, when the world had somewhat fallen apart and I fell apart with it, I needed to be able to find something to do. And so I reached out to that first preschool, and I photographed them in March. By May, I had 4 preschools my first year. And look, this is why I was like, I'm just going to talk to you, Justin, and vibe, because so I had reached out to that preschool, and they were like, yeah, sure. Well, when I went, I'm not going to say I had no idea what I was doing. I built a mini session set that I had done many times before. Like, that's what I was used to. And I rolled into this preschool by myself with, I think, like 5 to 7 crates, literal wooden crates, to build a backdrop. I had all the little props and things. And it was by my second school that I was like, I'm getting a wagon and I'm getting an assistant. And it all just kind of started from there. We had 4 preschools our first year. Everybody had the same set. Everybody was rocking and rolling on all those, on all of those wooden crates. And at that point, that's when I decided, it was that season, those 4 schools, when I was like, I don't ever want to do anything else. This is it for me. Like preschools are it. It was fast. I could do it when my kids were in school. And then I could just sit back and literally watch the money come in. Because, and I say this with all the love of my heart for all of you guys that photograph the older kids, the younger they are, the cuter they are, the more their parents like to buy their pictures. And so preschool is just such that good, amazing little window of magical time when they're just adorable and everything they do is adorable. And you can't look at them and see anything except your precious, perfect little baby instead of, you know, a teenager sulking around and giving you attitude. They don't do that.
Right.
So
and if they mess up a pose that you try to tell them to do, like, then it's funny and cute and they'll buy it.
It's cute. Yeah.
It doesn't
Like,
matter what the pose is, it's fun.
The whole part, the hardest part is when you have those kiddos that are going to melt down and they're going to cry, and that's okay. Like, that's who they are. We do, we started with prepay. We started with everyone coming in and paying $25. We had a form the parents would fill out and then put their money with it. I would go back, I would edit them. I would put them on, I think, Pixie Set back in 2021, or 2022. I put them on Pixie Set. And then I would have to make, like, each individual child had their own album. And then each individual child had their own coupon code for $25 that got attached to their album. And then I had to send each one out individually. And so, I mean, it took a long, long time. And it was a little ridiculous. And then last year in 2025, we had gotten up to 45 schools. And I don't know if you can imagine creating galleries for 45 different schools with each child in each gallery, but it was taking hours beyond hours beyond hours for me to be able to get these images out. We were running at 2 weeks of a delivery time. And like the last day of that 2 weeks, I'm still, every waking minute when I'm not shooting at a school, I'm still trying to get these galleries out. And I knew something had to change. And so Emily, my coach, and I see some vaulters in the chat, and I love you guys. She has the volume vault. She's my coach to the volume vault. And she was like, listen, you've got to get on PhotoDay. And I was like, I don't know, because I'm not a change person. I like what I know. I do what I know. I like what I know. And it just, she was like, just try it. And so I got on a call with Stevie, and she made me feel very confident that she would hold my hand through it. Little did Justin know that that hand was eventually going to be his, and he was going to drag me through all of it. But I had a staff last year of 5, one of which was just our gallery coordinator. All she did was create galleries, create codes, you know, and all of these things. I was able to retire her out because when I upload my galleries to PhotoDay, they take about 5 minutes. So that has been insane. So we go to our schools now. We run about 25 to 45 schools a semester, depending on what season it is. We actually visit our schools 4 times a year. We go in fall, we go for Christmas, we go for spring, and we go for summer. Our summer, I think we had maybe 8 schools this summer. Summer's not a big one. Christmas, like, we have to limit which of our schools we can take for Christmas because there's such a small window of opportunity for us to shoot those schools, because we're shooting literally 5 days a week in November, and then we do the first 2 weeks in December, and we're getting those images out. And so we can't take all 45 of our schools in that small amount of time. So we offer our Christmas and we book up for that every year. And then of course we have spring and we have fall. There are bigger seasons, especially falls. Falls are a huge season. And so, yeah, we visit them 4 times a year. We build those relationships with our directors, so we do get to come back every time. I have had people ask me, do you notice that people don't spend as much money because you're there so often? I have not. I have schools that we see once a year in spring, and we do spring and graduation, and that's all I want to do. And then I have schools, like I said, that I'm there 4 times a year, and you can pretty much guarantee, like, you have a formula, you can guarantee about how much money you're going to make per school. Yeah. So I love going to see them. We get to watch them grow up. We get to watch them from the nursery all the way to graduating from pre-K. And you get emotional because you get attached to these kids. You're like, that's one of my babies.
Well, that's
So
like the fun thing about preschool. It's like you can keep going back for all the different seasons, and like the photos are still going to be fun. Whereas like if you think about going back to like a high school, and it's like, oh, we're doing fall pictures, now we're going to do spring pictures, and now we're gonna do summer pic. Like parents don't care. Like we don't need one picture of my high schooler.
Well, and the thing is about preschoolers is when you're there in the fall, they look completely different by spring. They change so fast, which is another way that this genre like is so repeatable. It's so scalable because those kids look different every week, much less coming back every 3 months. And so the parents are getting to like, we're getting to watch them grow up, but their parents are getting to watch them grow up. And we're also training our parents on enjoying school photos and loving school photos. So those ones that are taking them for elementary school and middle and high school, they're like, well, I mean, I've got these all the way from when they were in nursery school. And so it builds the community. It's a really good thing of like getting them used to the process of picture day and the investment in building the value of picture day from the get-go.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to throw up the last slide here before I turn it off so we can kind of dive into the different categories here. But I do like your like myth that you kind of highlighted here. Do you want to go into on that?
Yeah. So the greatest thing about preschool photography is it's not being shot at the same time as sports. It's not being shot at the same time as weddings. It's not being shot at the same time as portraits. If you are looking for a way to add revenue to your already existing photography business, you aren't going to find somewhere better than preschool photography because it just fits in such an underutilized time of day. We get to our schools at 8 a.m. Takes about 15 to 20 minutes to set up at most. And then we're out of there. When I say by lunch, a lot of our schools, we're out of there by 10:30. Like our goal is to get these kids through in 1 to 2 minutes. We do a series of 4 poses for each child. And each one of those poses gets photographed in 3 ways. We go horizontal, we go vertical, and then we lean in for a crop. And then we're moving them to the next pose. And we're doing the same thing. And the whole time we're talking to them and we're interacting with them and we're squeezing our chicken and we've got our tickle stick. We have all the fun props to get the best smiles out of them. And so while they haven't moved physically, you've got various different poses. If we have a kid who is just a ham for the camera and we're going to move them through quickly, but their parents might get 30 pictures in a gallery. That's not my fault. Your kid's cute. So, and we do have criers. There is always going to be that. And that's inevitable. Like preschool is overwhelming anyway. You've got all these other kids around you with all these weird smells and people are touching you and you want this toy. So, preschool is an overwhelming kind of place. And so when we come in, there are kids that are just a little bit more sensitive to, I don't know these people. I don't want this. And so we do, and we encourage their parents, bring them back every season, sign them up every season, because the more they see us, the more they are going to be willing to work with us. And I tell them all the time, I promise you by the time we put a cap and gown on your baby, we're going to get a smile. But work with me here. Like
you're working a whole year. You're working up to that large end of year order that you're going to get from them.
I promise you, because and we just have some that are a little bit more sensitive, but we work with them. We take the time. So they might take a little bit longer and they might only have 3 poses that we've done in various different ways in theirs. But then the next season, when they see us again and they smile and they're social and they love to laugh, they might get that 30, picture gallery. And it's rewarding for us too, because like I said, we get to know these kids. Like kids don't move daycares very often until it's time for them to go to elementary school. And so we get to, fall in love with them and get to know their quirks. And I have a tracker, and for each one of my schools, if there are some kids that have a little bit more of a sensitive nature, I'll put in there like, hey, Noah doesn't like ducks, or like don't squeeze the chicken for Noah. Like, because we know we're going to come back and see him in 3 months. And if that's already put, I take it from the tracker, I print it out for our photography staff and our assistant. I'm like, hey, here's just a couple of heads up, just in case, look at him if you can. And then all of a sudden they get a tickle stick on Noah instead of a chicken, and Noah gives us a big smile. It's just personalizing that experience, and it doesn't take any extra time to do that. Like, that's not hard. That's part of the job. But you can, if you are a wedding photographer, you're shooting on Saturdays, you're shooting on Friday nights during the week. If you're walking into a preschool, you're done in 3 hours, and you're walking out and you're getting the editing done, and you're tossing them out, and you're probably going to make as much as you did on that wedding that you're going to be there for 12 hours on Sunday or on Saturday.
And even like the timing of preschools, like if you say you do like a 3 hour in the morning, that allows you to shoot a second school in the same day, like in the afternoon or something, if they're at least close by.
It is hard shooting twice a day with a preschool, just because once you hit that 11:30, 12 o'clock mark, we're going down for lunch, we're going down for nap. They're nasty at that point because they've been outside, and so they're a little bit more on the struggle bus in the afternoons. But if you have a school that has a school age component to it, we have gone back in the afternoons and done school age pictures, which has opened up a whole other revenue stream for us.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and turn the slides off because we got your big intro out of the way, and we can kind of just talk through some stuff here. We got our lovely.
I just wanted to vibe. I love to because for me, I've been doing it so long and I have such a process. For me, it's easy to forget things because it's just second nature. It's just what I do. So I love when other people are like, okay, but what about this? Or what about this? I'm like, oh, I know that. I can help you with that.
Yeah. And I will say, everybody watching, if you do have questions, definitely throw them in the chat, and our team, if it's PhotoDay related, we have some team on the back end that can help answer those maybe in the chat. But if it's something for Lauren, definitely throw it in the Q&A, and we can get to those specific questions at the end. But there was something I remember whenever I saw, I will say I didn't stay for your entire class at SPAC because we had lots of other things to do. But I remember the very beginning, something that stood out to me was you saying that you're really focused on marketing to 3 different clients, which are going to be your directors, the kids themselves, and then also to the parents. So you're really managing 3 different relationships there. And I'd love to kind of start with maybe booking your schools and building that relationship with the directors themselves, and kind of how you go about that.
I would love to. I actually pulled out some of the things that we use. So you have 3 different avenues you're really having to use your marketing brain for. With directors, we're really focusing on that value-based marketing, because directors, when you learn to speak their language, they don't care that the pictures are pretty. They don't really care how many years you've been in business. They don't care that you speak at SPAC. They don't care that you are all these things. They care that you're going to make their life easier. They care that you're going to come in, do your job, disrupt them as little as possible, and that they're not going to have to field angry parents. That's what directors want to know. They want to know, how can I have this done and my life not have to be held to do it? And so,
and get out.
Get in and get out. They don't want you hanging around, and I don't blame them. So, I don't they want you in and they want you out. And so we always tell our directors, listen, you do not have to keep up with order forms. You are not collecting money. You are not, all we need, as long as the kids are registered and you're sending the flyer out to the parents, that's your whole job. And when we get there, we're going to use, I explained the capture app to them, that we're going to pull up the kids. We're going to take their picture with our handy dandy tablet. And I do ask for their help with that part, because I don't know these kids. If I know them, I know them. But most of the time I don't know these kids. And most of our kids can't tell you, oh yeah, my name is, Noah Moore. No, you're going to hear, my name is, Bubba. My name's Bubba. Yeah. Okay. But what's your mom call you? Bubba. Okay, who is this child? So, oh, that's Noah. Okay, great. Let me go in here and find him. So, other than having like a teacher assistant to help us with the capture app and being able to make sure we have the right kids marked with the right information, we leave them alone. You bring us the kids, we take their picture, we send them on back to you, and then before nap time and before lunch, we are going to be wrapped up out of here, blowing you a kiss, waving you goodbye, telling you to have an awesome day, and we will see you soon. And I send out what my directors really love. I send out like at 4 weeks, here is everything that you need to be doing at this point. Like send out the flyer. Make sure if you have any questions, let us know. This is your backdrop. Here's all the information you need. And then at 2 weeks, like, hey, can't wait to see you. Just wanted to give you like picture days in 2 weeks. Just keep it in the front of mind. 1 week. Hey, we have this many families registered for picture day. That is awesome. We'll see you at 8 a.m. on July 18th. And then the day before, can't wait to see you tomorrow. We'll be there at 8 a.m. ready to go. We just send these reminders so that they don't have to constantly have to keep it front of mind. We're going to do that for them. You don't have to think about it. We're going to take care of it. As long as you send out the flyer, we're going to take care of everything else. We let them know, like, if parents have questions, direct them back to us. You don't have to deal with it. You don't have to ask me so that you can tell them, just direct them to us. They have my personal phone number. They have our studio number. They have our email. You have a direct line to us, and they enjoy that too. With the parents, we definitely go more towards an attraction-based, like we go through to more of an attraction-based marketing with our parents. We like to show who we are. Like we want you to know, like, and trust us. We want that for our directors, but our directors are much more focused on the things they have going on. Our parents want to know who's in front of their kids, like who is taking this picture. So we definitely have a different marketing track to them. We also train our parents. We're very intentional on walking them through the process as much as we can on the back end, so that we can avoid most of our emails on the after picture day. And our parents train well. When you go into a new school, you kind of have to figure out, like at that point, we already know who they had before. We've already had a conversation with our director. We know who they've used, be it Life Touch or a mom or another company. We know the process they went through. So we can kind of tell, is this going to be a difficult transition for the parents, or is this going to be fairly easy? Life Touch, believe it or not, is a fairly easy transition. The parents actually love that they have so many more options. They're not getting like 4 of the exact same pose. Their kid looks miserable. Like they're getting so many different like expressions, and like they can tell their kid is having fun. Now, we did lose a couple of our schools this past year to a mom or a teacher doing the pictures, and the parents can pay whatever they want to get those images. When we get those schools back, and I say when because they always come back around, but when we get those schools back, that is going to be a more difficult transition for those parents, because this is more structured. This is more of, you're not going to pay $5 for your whole gallery. So you have to kind of judge when you're working with the parents and when you're working with the schools of what kind of transition are we getting into that first year. And then we're just going to continue training them as we go on. We've had several schools that have been with us 4 seasons a year for 4 years. And then we have schools, we've gotten 2 new schools this season that we will, kind of teach a little bit along the way of how we do things. And then, of course, with the kids, you want them to know, like, and trust you too. Like, you're a stranger with all of these lights coming in and with all these backgrounds coming in. I don't know you, and you're making me nervous. So you're breaking down, those barriers. If you're seeing, like, Spider-Man is a huge thing for the preschoolers. I see so many Spider-Man shirts. I'm like, oh, I love Spider-Man. Like, can you do a Spider-Man pose? Can you show me? And you interact with them in a way of, like, so that it disarms them. Your whole purpose is to disarm them, make them feel safe so that they can give you those expressions and those smiles.
Yeah.
Was that the answer? Was that the question?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, awesome.
Into like a little bit of the 3 categories, but we can dive deeper into each one. I have a few questions that I've typed up. But one kind of came to mind was you're talking about marketing or like communicating towards directors and then also communicating to parents differently. Do you have that access to communicate to the parents directly, or are you kind of sending both types of communication to the school and they help send it out to the parents initially?
A little bit of both. We keep our Facebook page kind of more, it's director oriented, but we keep it where the parents want to check it out. We have a lot of interaction on our Facebook page from our parents, and we actually have and our website as well. We sorry, my baby daddy's calling. And so we have them kind of that way. And then we also have, when we send things out to our directors, we send scripts out with it for our directors to post into Dojo or Brightwheel or whatever like that. Like we give it to them and we're like, hey, text this out to your parents or just post this out to your parents. And 9 times out of 10 they do, but it's in our voice that we're sending out. And then we always, if you have any questions, reach out to us at hello@meetsnapstudios.com. That way they always have an avenue to get to us. With our directors, we start with a cold postcard. Like when I find a school that I want, I send a postcard out to them. It's the very first touch point. Like I don't even pre-qualify the schools before I send out the postcard. If I see a new preschool, if I see a preschool anywhere, I'm mailing out a postcard. I don't even know if I want them or not, but I want them to see my logo. Like I need this in front of them. And then at that point, I'm going to do my first cold call. And if you are not cold calling while you are prospecting, you are leaving money on the table. You are leaving schools on the table. You have to get used to cold calling. You have to. That is where I book 95% of my schools is calling. I will say, let me preface that with, when I call them the first time, I am not planning on booking them. I am building relationships only. I am calling them and I'm saying, hey, I'm Lauryn Moore. I own Snap Happy Preschool Photography. Have you guys booked your fall picture day yet? Yeah, we have a photographer. Okay, that's awesome. I love that for you. Would you mind if I asked who you're using? Oh, we go from Life Touch. They sent us an email a week after Spring Picture Day and they already booked it. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, well, we are a little different than Life Touch. And somewhere in that conversation, like I build our value, I sneak it in there. And then I ask like, would you like me to send you some information just to see if you guys ever want to make a change? Yeah, you can send us information. Nobody is denying you ever sending them information. It's not that big of a deal. They're not gatekeeping their email address. And so I asked them, what email is going to be best for you? And they give me their email. Now, are you the final decision on picture day? Are you the director? Yes, I'm the director. The director's not here. What's that director's name? Elizabeth. And I'm writing down Elizabeth's name and I'm adding them to our Flow Desk emails. And those emails start going out every week. It was so great to talk to you. I am so excited for what you're doing in your preschool. That is awesome. And, here's a link to our director guide. And that's it. And then they start getting our emails that we actually schedule out throughout the year. That's like, already have a photographer? That's okay. We love that for you. But if that ever changes, keep us in mind. And every one of those emails has our logo at the top. Now, once I have made some email contact, once I've made phone contact, once I will call again and check in. I do about 3 calls usually total before I go and I make a visit. If I'm making a visit, it's because I feel like I need to build some more value or I really want this school. But when I make a visit, I have 2 things with me. I have a flyer. Oh, can you see it? You can't see it. There we go. I have a flyer and I have our magazine. And our magazine has all of the information you could ever want to know about us. It's the digital one that I'm sending in the email. But if I get a director, the director is left with a magazine. If I get a front office person or anybody else, they're getting a flyer. I'm not leaving a magazine with anyone that's not a director or someone who is going to be making the final picture day choice. By then, I'm okay with sitting the bench if they're not quite ready yet. But you better believe when it's prospecting time for the next season, hey, it's Lauryn again. I just wanted to check in, see if you guys have spring booked. You do have spring booked. Do you guys do graduation pictures? Graduation pictures? Yeah, we actually offer cap and gown. We actually offer tux and drapes for the preschoolers. if you'd like me to, I can send you some information on over it and see if you guys could just try us out for graduation and see if you like the experience a little bit more and how your parents think about it. That's how we get in a lot. We used to be able to do it with Christmas. We book up too quickly for Christmas, but a lot of times we're able to get in either our summer option or our graduation option to a new school that is terrified of changing, because the devil is a little easier than the devil you don't. You know what I mean? It is hard for these directors. If picture day is going okay, then they don't have a reason to change unless you give them one.
Yeah.
So building the value is the biggest part of prospecting.
Yeah, I love the idea of just like, well, here's something a little bit new that maybe you haven't seen before. And it's like, we do that in addition to everything else that your previous person is already doing. So
Yeah.
I love
Plus,
that process there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever, I know you kind of mentioned like previous photographers, like as soon as picture day is over, they're like reaching out and booking for next season already. What does that kind of look like for you? Is like, how do you, like your existing schools, what kind of time frame or like mindset are you in whenever you're reaching back out to them, or like how do you make sure that they're good and if they have questions or concerns and don't want to look elsewhere?
Yeah. So we always, at the end of the season, well, first of all, if we do our jobs right, we are asking for that rebooking at the picture day we're at. So in fall, when I book fall, I book Christmas too. Because like I said, we don't have much room for Christmas. There's not a lot of wiggle. So we don't offer it to everybody. So, but when we're in fall, while we're at picture day, we're saying, hey, while I'm here, before I leave, while the team is packing up, let me go ahead and get you on the schedule for spring so that you guys get the dates that you want. I don't want it to book up and you guys end up somewhere you don't want to be. And so that's always our first, like, that's what we want to do. We do have some schools that book us, like when we book in fall, we book Christmas, we book spring, we book summer. And like, I mean, they want to know their calendar before their calendar year starts. And I love those schools. But most of the time we're trying to book before we leave the site. If they can't, if they're busy, if the director's not there, I follow up with an email after the pictures are delivered. And I'm like, hey, galleries are live. Make sure your parents have gotten text messages, your parents have gotten emails. Make sure that if anyone asks you, tell them to check their spam, check their junk folder. If anyone has any problems, email me directly. By the way, how was picture day for you guys this season? Was there anything we could have done better? And I try to frame everything as positively as I can, because you don't want anyone looking for issues of like, well, I think the assistant could have been a little bit more smiley. Like, you're not looking for things, but you want them to also feel very cared for and very listened to. And if there is an issue, you want to already have built that relationship with them and that rapport with them, that ease with them, that they feel like they can come to you without it being a big deal. I don't ever, like, if anyone ever comes to us with a complaint, I don't ever make it into a big deal. In fact, I don't minimize like what they're feeling, but I'm like, oh, well, we can fix that. That's not a big deal at all. You know, like, absolutely. You don't have to worry about that one bit. I try my best to just ease their mind of like, okay, good. Oh, I didn't want to talk to her about that, but at least she didn't freak out about it. I don't want them to ever feel that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So transitioning kind of into the actual picture day itself, I know you kind of touched on some of your little like gadgets that you have to kind of make sure the kids are having fun and all that stuff. But are there any other tips that you have for, I guess, picture day itself to make sure that those kids are comfortable? I guess kind of doubling up on that question, one thing that came to mind was the crying kids. It's like, do you just photograph them and get what you get? Do you give them like a little break and they can come back? Or kind of
that really depends on temperament. So I will tell you, when any kid that you encounter in preschool photography, you need to match their energy. If they are shy and they are quiet, you do not need to be squeaking that chicken. You do not need to be, hey, that's overwhelming. Stop. But if you get a kid who's coming and parkouring off of the things, you better meet him where he's at too and be like, yeah, let's go. What can we do? I mean, you have to match their energy. We tell directors or the teacher assistant, whoever is in there with us that knows the kids, like, hey, let's bring 2 to 3 kids at a time, but one of them, if you know that if someone's going to have some issues, bring the most charismatic kid in your class. Bring the one that you know is going to have the best time. And then it's more of a monkey see, monkey do situation of, oh, well, he went up there and he did all these things and he got to play with them. And so maybe it's not so scary. But when that child that is a little bit more sensitive comes in, you bring it down and you get closer to them and you're like, hey, I know this is big, but like, why don't you sit in my chair? Tell me about your shoes, or tell me about, we're constantly complimenting these kids. We're constantly being like, oh my gosh, look at your bow. I love that bow. And like, oh, you have gotten so big since last year. Look how tall you've gotten. Show me how tall you are. And things like that. If we have a crier, what we do with those kiddos is we are going to put them on set. We're going to do what we can do, but we're not taking a long time with that. Very rarely are you going to go from a child losing their whole mind to smiling in 30 seconds. And that's what we need them to do. So if we're not getting that, we will snap a couple pictures so that they are on the capture app. The parents do get not a blank, whatever. I give them something called a cry card, a crier card. Or if they're like, he's not normally like this, then I'll be like, you know what? Give him a break. Get him a snack, whatever, if he's uncomfortable, and then just bring him back and we'll try again. Because again, with the capture app, they could come to my camera 6 times. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care the order. And so it gives them an opportunity to sit back and wait, watch their friends, or if they're not going to do it this season, they're just not going to do it this season. And that cry card lets their parent know, like, hey, we tried our best, but it just wasn't our day-to-day, but that's okay. Come back next season and we'll try again. We can't wait to see them when they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And it works. I mean, some kids just have that temperament. So
yeah, I love that the crier card thought though. It's like a lot of times I see photographers talking about reviews that they're getting from parents, or like a parent emailed me and said, how dare you photograph my child crying and all that stuff. And if you kind of like throw it out there ahead of time, it's like, they were crying. I didn't do it on purpose. Like, and I think that would kind of help some of those parents that might send an email like that or might post a Google review like that. So I really do like that mindset.
And I tell them, we're not here to traumatize your kids. We're not going to make picture day be a bad memory for them. We're not going to push them any farther than they're willing to be pushed, because we're going to be back in just a few months and we're going to see them again then. And then we're going to see them a few months after that. And the more they see us and the more they see the chicken and the more they see the tickle stick, the more they're like, I want to play with the tickle stick. I want to squeeze the chicken.
Yeah.
By the way, little note there. We have little pigs and we have little chickens. If it starts getting around the 3 or 4 year old age where they're like, and you're like, can you just give me a smile? And they're like, and they're starting to get a little sassy. I'll let you squeeze the pig if you give me a smile. They want to squeeze that pig so bad. And then I tell them, I'm like, okay, you got to squeeze it 3 times. Give me 3 squeezes. And they'll come up to you and they will squeeze it 3 times. You're like, yeah, it's so good. And then by the time they make it back next season, they're like, do you have the pig?
Right. They're looking for that pig.
You want to squeeze the pig? And they're immediately ready to go and they're smiling and they come straight to you and they want to squeeze that pig. And so we actually keep our giggle box, is what I call it. We keep our giggle box stocked with the same toys every time. Like we might add like a Bluey in there or something that's softer. I don't do very many stuffed animals. I don't do anything that can't be sanitized. Everything is very like rubbery or plasticky because again, you're walking into a living petri dish. They're nasty. And so you want stuff that can easily be sanitized. But yeah, they get used to it and they're like, I'm going to squeeze that pig this year. I didn't squeeze that pig last year because I didn't want to go up there, but this year I'm squeezing the pig. And they do. And they do great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think whenever your class in SPAC, I think that was you were talking about kids and like the environment that you have during picture days and all that stuff. And I think that was like right when Austin and I were leaving your class. I was like, we got to hurry up because I'm about to cry. Because you were like, oh my gosh, like sometimes these kids, we don't know why they're crying. Sometimes they just want a hug. And I was like, that is so sweet.
We do that.
I feel like a lot of like volume photographers, they just want to like get you in, get you out, especially, I mean, you're not going to say that about like the high school kids or like athletes and stuff like that. But once you get into like the preschool mindset, like you do have to kind of change your feelings towards who you're photographing. It's like, sometimes they really do just want to hug.
you don't know if you are the only smiling face they're going to see that day. You hope not, but you don't know. You don't know what their little brains are going through at home, and you don't know what's going on, like in their little minds and how they think things. And sometimes they just need. We employ almost completely across the board. We employ mamas, and we either have small children or we've been with small children, and so we have that more of a we're mamas. And we're like, come here. and we will. We're going to be using our, sanitizer in between kids, but we're going to love on them as much as we can. And I feel like that's what sets us apart. I don't feel like a lot of Life Touch photographers are going in there hugging on kids and playing with them the way that we do.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and in that little vein, really quick, let me talk to you guys for a second because it's very near and dear to my heart. We send out something to our directors before picture day, and we ask, is there anyone with any kind of exceptionalities, any kind of sensitivities, any special needs that we need to know about before we walk in? What we don't want to do is for them that be, oh yeah, that's Bryce and he doesn't like to be touched and loud noises scare him and he's on the spectrum, and that's just for them, that's normal. For us, we don't know Bryce. So if we come at Bryce with a tickle stick, if we come at Bryce with a squeaky pig and Bryce is, afraid of noises, we like to know those things ahead of time so that we can already, if we know he doesn't like to be touched, we know our assistant knows where she needs to go so that she can still interact with him and still be in his safe bubble area. We always want them to feel safe. If there are physical exceptionalities that they could ever in any way, shape, or form potentially fall, get injured, anything, the teachers at that point are going to be the ones that come in and assist with that child. We do have a few schools that are special needs specific, and we love those schools. They're some of our absolute favorite schools, and we enjoy being able to work with them in a way that's going to keep their children safe and it's going to respect those kids' boundaries. So that is a really, really big thing before you walk into that school. Know what you're walking into if you can. If you can't, you're going to find out pretty quickly. But if you can, go ahead and start getting yourself prepared.
Yeah, I love that. So we've also touched on kind of communicating with parents quite a bit. I feel like we touched on that with the directors. Something else I just wanted to ask about, the parents or after picture day, once photos are online, are you doing any extra pushing of that information in addition to the automated marketing that we have at PhotoDay?
Yeah, so we're sending out manual flyers the first 2 days of our photos going out. Our buy all is normally $125, but if you get them in the first 48 hours, you're getting them for $99. So they're getting additional texts and additional flyers that Justin sends out for me to make sure.
I'm nodding as if I don't know any of this from you.
I know, exactly what we do. This year, we are actually utilizing a lot more Photo Day tools in fall to incentivize larger orders. We have a pretty standard AOV at $68 per order. But we want to see that go even higher because we are noticing people are ordering more, but less people are ordering. So I understand in this economy that less are able to order. So the people that are ordering, we want bigger orders. So that's really what our focus for fall of 2026 is, raising that AOV. I would love to see that AOV be around $75 by the time we hit January is my goal. So we're using some of the new features in PhotoDay to get there.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we're definitely testing some of our newer stuff that's kind of in testing phase right now, which I'm super excited for it to release to everybody. But
more it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
Awesome. I think when I ran your report when we talked not too long ago, 83-ish% of your orders are just all digitals. So
yeah, you have to make it that's the good thing about, we don't do just one or two poses. That is not, it's just not how we do things, because the more variety that you're giving them, the more it just makes sense to get the download all. Why would I not spend $100 for all of these photos instead of just picking one or two when I want them all. It's not a huge investment. They are school pictures. The whole point is to get them to buy those, and then we'll see you next season. I will say the $99 download all, I really enjoy that. I enjoy incentivizing that for that first 48 hours. And I don't know if there's any other photographer or preschool photographers on this today. I'd be interested to hearing if you guys, like Justin and I even went over my numbers. Like our order rate does like this and then bottoms out. Like those first 2 days are so mission critical. And then of course we get them going up and down on days that notifications are sent out. But that first 2 days, because parents have so much going on in their minds and parents are dealing with so much, if they don't do it when they see it, they're going to forget it. And so we do let the schools know, like, hey, the galleries are live. Hey, if you don't mind, if you will send this out on Dojo, and I'll send it about a week later of like, don't forget your fall pictures or whatever. And they'll send that out on Brightwheel or whatever their platform is. And yeah, so we're able to incentivize that first burst of orders. That's really what we want. Anything else is bonus. What you make in the first 48 hours is pretty much what you're going to make. Yeah. Because like I said, those parents are just, and they're getting younger. Obviously the generation that I'm working with as far as parents, some of them, I could be their mama. And so they're getting younger. And so they're used to this instant gratification, so many things going on. So it just makes it easier when we're incentivizing those at the very beginning and offering best price at the very beginning. Then we're not dealing with people 2 months down the road being like, I forgot to order my pictures. Do you still have those? And of course we still have them because they're on, PhotoDay, and I don't have to we expire our galleries for sure, but then we open them back up to digital only pricing.
Yeah. So yeah, especially younger parents. I mean, they want quick and easy, one click, get everything. They want digital to put on social media. Like they love a sale. So it's all a good combo for that first 48 hours. But definitely our mindset here at PhotoDay is like, we want to help you push as many orders as you can in that first week that you've published. So that 48-hour promo that you're doing is like very, very, very helpful. Awesome. So I highlighted 99 download all special as like a topic. So I'm glad we touched on that. But I do see we have a lot of questions in the Q&A section.
We do. Thanks for being so active, guys. I love that.
Yeah, I think this is like the most questions we've ever had.
Yay!
So I guess we can kind of highlight them here on the screen. Did you mention if you're using advance pay?
I have not really used advance pay much, but so I have this year added a VA onto my staff, and she has changed my life because she is very type A and I'm very type B, and I want to do the creative stuff and I don't want to worry about anything else. So she has actually gone through in this last week and has listed all of our schools, and if they are hitting target, if they're on a watch list, or if they need to go to prepay. And so in the early days of Snap Happy, like I said, we had a $25 prepay that we would do, and that would go towards their gallery. So we do have a few schools that did not have enough orders. Like their orders were all like buy alls, but there weren't enough orders for the amount of children that we had. So those this season, we are putting them on advance pay. And that luckily, and I'm hoping it will be soon, that luckily advance pay will be required. So for them to register for picture day, they'll make that advance payment, and then they will have their pictures made, and it will just go straight to their order. And money spent is money gone. They don't think about it anymore. So I'm hoping we get a lot more buy-alls even from just that.
Well, again, thinking about just like the younger crowd, it's girl math. It's going to be, oh, well, now it's free money because I spent that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have a discount on my pictures.
Exactly. Let me get that. Let me get a couple of them 8x10s.
Yeah. I love it. How long do you leave galleries open? I see big sales the last day too.
Okay, so cool. Fun question, because I was always one that expired galleries in 4 weeks. And at SPAC, I was actually listening to Jay Boatwright, and they expire all of their galleries at the same time, like at the end of the season. And I was like, because if you're really thinking about it, the way it was coming across when I was doing it at 4 weeks was they were getting all of the notifications and like, hey, your pictures are ready, your pictures are ready, your pictures are ready. And by the time they got all of those notifications, the expiring notifications were starting. And it's like, don't forget, your gallery expires on this date. I feel like it was becoming white noise. And so they had gotten so used to the notifications, they weren't paying attention to them anymore. So now if we have a school in March and we have a school in May, they're both expiring at the end of June. And then all of a sudden they had their pictures marked. Oh my God, I completely forgot we had school pictures. Let me order those before they expire. So the white noise issue is not there. So now whatever we set up, we expire at almost the very last of the season. I think all of our fall galleries this year, I think we have expiring on December 7th, because I don't want a lot of overlap between our Christmas galleries going out with the fall galleries that have already gone out. That one's kind of a tightrope to walk. This is the only one that's like that. Spring's not like that. Summer's not like that. But fall and Christmas are so tightly together that we do try to. But all of our schools that we do in Christmas, we try to schedule those in August and early September so that there is a gap there before they're getting those notifications.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Mackenzie says, I would love to know more about your pricing. My AOV is around $39 and would love to up that.
Oh, Mackenzie. Yes, let's get that higher. So I have a lower digital single that, I will happily say it.
We're fixing it for the fall.
We're fixing it. Justin has harped on me enough to where I'm like, okay, I'm trusting you. And so our digital is $20. Our print start at $10. I keep our print that's $10 is literally 1 3x5. And I have it at that because I want to be able to tell directors, like I had a director yesterday, I called her, I'd sent her a magazine and I was like, did you have any questions? She was like, yeah, I saw that like parents have to spend, it's $100 to get their kid's picture made. And I was like, nope. It's not. And let me explain to you how our pricing works. And I was like, actually, our prints start at $10. So any budget can buy something from us. But you just want to price it in a way that makes sense to spend more. If you're spending $39, you've gotten not like maybe 2 digital images and that's it. You've had to look at your whole gallery of a minimum of 12 pictures is in a gallery because we're doing those 4 poses, 3 shots of each pose. So you're looking at 12 pictures. Then we're turning them black and white through PhotoDay. So you have 24 images that you're looking at and you're having to pick out 2 to be able to spend $39. And very rarely do you have a parent who could walk away from all those other pictures. So it's giving them enough variety and giving them enough incentive to have those higher numbers. But yeah, we start low so I can tell the directors we can hit any price point. They can spend as little or as much as they want to. If they want 1 digital image, it's going to cost them $20. You can go to Walmart or you can go to McDonald's and spend $20 on a meal, or they can get a digital image of their child. But we don't want them to spend $20. We want them at least at that 68, if not higher level.
Yeah. And I will say, Mackenzie, if you want to reach out to our team in the bubble, we can definitely take a look at your price sheet, offer suggestions. We can connect you with someone on the success team. We're definitely able to help to look over that kind of stuff, look at your numbers if you're already selling with PhotoDay. So definitely reach out and we can help with that too. Let me scroll down and get some of the earlier questions. Tracy and John asked, do you photograph daycares as well or only preschools with children that are older?
Our schools usually start at 6 weeks. We only have a few schools that are 3 and 4 year olds. We go all the way down to the babies through pre-K. And I will say it, because everyone's going to ask, well, how do you photograph the babies? You get what you get and you don't fuss a bit. And when you're back the next time, they'll be sitting up. When you have baby potatoes, you stick them in a crate with a blanket, you take what you can get, and then when they are sitting unassisted, you can get more in your gallery. Like, you just get what you can get.
Yeah, I love that mindset.
I don't stress over little potato babies. They are so sweet and they are beautiful, but there is only so much they can do. But soon they are going to do so much more. The next time that we're there, they're going to be doing so much more. And so, and, you know, I tell parents that too. Be like, I love your sweet little tiny baby that can't hold his head up. Oh, he was so cute. Hit me up when he's sitting up and we will get so many more poses done.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you see your fall AOV and participation drop at all at schools where you come back for Christmas?
No, not at all. We don't have any. Actually, Christmas, a lot of time the AOV is bigger than it is for fall. Our Christmas is, I'm going to say at 75% of our schools, our Christmas is probably our highest time of the year of buying. Like, our biggest galleries are at Christmas. People eat up Christmas pictures because they intend to. It's going to go one of two ways. And we do pre-registration. I know a lot of people go in and they photograph everybody. We have chosen to do pre-registration. It's easier with me, or for me, for having a staff, because I know that they can take on a certain amount of kids each day. And so we do pre-registration, and those parents who are having family Christmas pictures made, or they have booked a mini session, a lot of times they might not be registering for Christmas. But those parents who are like me, who are waiting until like, crap, it's December 20th. I didn't get any pictures of, like, for my kid. They're like, you know what? I can do it at the school. And so they do it at school, and then they're buying their family Christmas pictures from the preschool. So our preschool, our Christmas galleries are some of our biggest galleries of the year. We love Christmas.
Awesome. This one.
And let me also note with that, we do themed sets. So their fall pictures, their spring pictures, and their Christmas pictures all look very, very different. Like, they're not, we are adding solid backgrounds this year, but it's not like we're switching out one solid color to go to a gray or go to, no, we're there. This is your fall set that's either like a classroom or a fall outside kind of situation, or like fall leaves in the background. Like, they're cutesy, cheesy, modern sets. The Christmas pictures look completely different because it's a completely different set.
Yeah. Definitely have to provide them something
Yeah,
totally
we give
different.
them lots of
Not look
options.
at them and like, oh, well, that's the same thing they just did in fall. Let me not buy it. So that's
why we're able to go 4 times a year, is because we do theme sets.
Yeah. How do you handle parents who want sibling galleries combined?
That one's really hard. That's actually something that Justin and I are working through. I got my parents at the very beginning used to being able to get all of their kids in the same gallery. And I have shot myself in the foot with that. I will tell you, that is one of the biggest lessons I have learned doing preschools. Whatever you want to do in the future is how you need to begin. Because, like I said, you are training your parents every season. And I have trained my parents to be used to sibling galleries being together. And I have left money on the table with that. So Justin and I are actually working on basically a sibling discount code that is going to unlock once you spend a certain amount. So we are working on that for fall. So if you will find me at Create, I will tell you how that is going.
Love that. Let's see here. What else do we got? There's so many to choose from. Parents sign up for photo days, or do you always photograph everyone?
I don't photograph everyone. Like I said, I do pre-registration. So if we have a school that has 75 kids, I'm just going to tell you kind of our math, worst case scenario math. If we have, I'm not going to say 75, I don't like real numbers. Let's say we have a school that has 100 kids. We can, worst case scenario, know that 50% of those are going to register. And out of that 50%, we are going to have about a 78% order rate. And then we're going to times that by $68 because that's our average order value. So I could photograph 100% and make more money. I am not usually the one in the schools. I could photograph all of those children. I hire staff so that I can be here doing what I want to do, living my life with my kids. And I don't ever want my staff to come up on a situation of like, hey, it's 11:50 and we still have 30 kids to go. That is the worst case scenario. Okay. Like I tell myself all the time, if you are there at 12, something has gone wrong and you better have contacted me an hour earlier. Like we want to be out of that school, packed up in our cars on the way to lunch by 11:30. So we do pre-registration. If we do have a school that wants everyone photographed, we do require parent emails up front with the kids' names so that we can register them into the Capture app. If the kid's not in the Capture app, we're not taking their picture unless someone puts them in there. That way we're not sitting there fighting for matches, figuring out, and we have, if someone is dressed so cute and mom forgot picture day, the teacher can be like, hey, I don't think mom registered them. Awesome. That's totally fine. If you don't mind, if you've got their email, you can stick them in here. Here's how you do that. Or if you'll just call mom, send her this link really fast, she can get in there and we'll go ahead and take their pictures. Just get them in there so that we know who they are. It's so easy to do that even day of. Like, I'm not stressed if day of there's people still registering. That's okay. When we have a lot of parents who weren't going to register, they walk in and they see the set and they're like, okay, maybe I will. Maybe we'll see how he does this season. And they'll register right there on the spot. So we do pre-registration. Maybe eventually we might go to photographing everybody, but that's going to have to be when I logistically feel like that's fair to my team to put that on them.
Yeah, for sure. Kristen asked, said she loves the magazine idea. Can you talk a little bit more about maybe like the details that you have in that?
Okay, so we have this magazine. Let me see. Here we go. And it literally has all of our information in it. Hang on a second. Let me turn.
You're like Harry Potter behind like the
I know. That's my, okay. I'm in my kitchen. This is not as cute.
We don't judge here.
Okay, so here's the magazine. And there's a table of contents. There's about us. There's all of these things. Our pricing, different examples of when we come to your school, our staff, reviews, all of our contact information. This is what I give to my directors. Fun fact, you can buy this. You don't even have to make it. So make your own, or you can just buy it from me. I offer it.
I love it.
But you need a magazine. Everybody needs a magazine. Like, just get one. Like,
yeah, and it's easier to have like that physical piece kind of like just sitting off the side on your desk. Whereas like an email, it's like I can just delete that, archive it can go away. Whereas that magazine, whether it's on the bottom stack of everything that they have or if it's on the top, it's always like just kind of sitting off the corner of their desk. And maybe one day when they're frustrated, they'll be like, oh, you know what?
I remember them. And it's not like it's a good enough quality where they feel guilty for throwing it away. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to like toss it, even if they don't want to keep it. They don't want to throw it away. So it just lives there until they need it.
Like a coffee table piece.
Yes, exactly. And there's like adorable kids on the front, so they can look at it all the time. They're like, "Oh man, those kids look so happy. That set looks so cute. Like that looks so easy." So
Awesome.
Get a magazine. You need one.
Let's see. Rick asks, are you using knockouts and composites or background selection?
No, I do. If we have our solid options, if we do a different, just solid color, we will go into a photo and smooth everything, but we don't do composites with preschool. It's just too many, like some of them are laying on their belly, and we've got the chair, so it just doesn't look right for how we shoot. It doesn't look right. So no, we do everything natural background.
Yeah, I love that. And then I think I'm gonna do this being the last question because we are over an hour.
Make it a good one.
Someone stuck around for this.
I'm so excited.
Actually, I'm not surprised because we're amazing. So
we are. Listen, this is the dream team right here. Y'all don't even know. Y'all have no idea.
Okay, so last question, Tracy and John, do you offer the same pricing and items for all of your sessions, like between fall and Christmas, spring and summer?
Yeah, we don't change our price list. No, we don't change our price list. It's the same across the board. We like parents to know they can kind of pre-budget at that point when they know what to expect already. We don't mind that. Like if we wanted to, we could go in and add like ornaments or something for Christmas. But other than that, we have a really good like amount of stuff that we offer anyway. And we don't, with what I've seen, we don't get a ton of specialty items ordered. So we just make sure that we offer a good variety of prints, of print sizes. And that's what our parents like. We have specialty items, but our parents don't buy a ton of them.
Yeah. I know I said last question, but I always like to do one more. So,
okay.
Karina says, how do you handle your contact person if there's no number to call? I know we talked about cold calling, but if there's only the option to auto-populate your email, what do you do?
I've never found a preschool or daycare that doesn't have a phone number. So, because the parents have to be able to get in contact with them as well. If I came up against that, I would actually probably go on Facebook and be like, hey, does anybody's kid go to Little Adventures daycare? And if someone's like, yeah, I do. Hey, I would love to get in contact with your director about picture day. Do you have a contact for them or anything? Or could you tell me their name? I'm going to proactively reach out. But I've never been a part of a daycare that doesn't have a phone number. Now, whether or not they're going to answer that phone number, different situation, in which that's when we're making our visits. If we keep calling and they're not answering the phone, we're going to come drop by. And we're going to maybe bring them some donuts or, just a smiling face and our information. But everyone I've found has had some sort of contact number.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to cut off questions just because we are over time. But I do want to
worry because I'm going to tell you guys a way that you can ask more questions all the time. So I run a coaching program and it is called Preschool Photo Academy. And this is what we do all the time. Every month there is a new topic and there are scripts and templates and trainings and podcasts and downloadables and workbooks every single month, and it changes. Back in June, we did a full business system audit where we walked through every part of our system process, tore it down and rebuilt it with what worked. In July, we talked about value-based marketing, prospecting, attraction marketing. In August, we're going to be breaking down pricing and profits and price lists. In September, we were talking about staffing. So there is always something that we are doing in Preschool Photo Academy. We did just open up the community as a free option. You can go in there and ask questions anytime you want to, jump into the community, and people will do their very best to answer those for you. But if you want in-depth training on how to do this business, and like I said, in 4 years, we completely replaced our portrait income. We are a 4-figure preschool business in Podunk, Alabama, servicing, every school in our area pretty much, doing the exact same thing across the board. If you want to learn how I did that, this is your best way of contacting me and jumping in. We have so many amazing people in there. We have such incredible resources. Get in there and poke around. It is preschoolphotoacademy.com. We have other things coming up. I'm in development of a Preschool 101 standalone course, and the workbook will be available in preschoolphotoacademy.com. That's going to go along with that course. And we have an incredible school and prospect and tracker that you're going to be able to track how much you're making on your photo days. You're going to be able to come up with when your follow-ups are due from the last time you called them. There's places to put in who you spoke to when you called, what day you called, all the notes, and then you're going to be able to leave yourself a follow-up and you're going to get notifications off of that. That is on its way and will be done by Create. So if there is a way that I can support you in preschool photography, because it is my absolute favorite thing to talk about, if there is a way that I can support you, this is where you're going to find me the most. So I hope you guys jump into it because you need to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. And I got to see like very early stages sneak peek of that tracker, and it's pretty cool.
It is.
It looks super helpful. I don't photograph preschools, but I was like playing around with it, and I was like, oh, that's so smart. I would want to know that too as a preschool photographer. So
I love it. I love it.
And your community that you're talking about, is that on Facebook?
Nope. It's all, if you go on the website, you will be able to find, it's a school platform, and there is the community tab, the classroom tab. We actually have a VIP option that is the inner circle. The inner circle twice a month gets a 1 hour coaching call with me. They can ask nothing is gate kept at all. You have access to everything that I have. There is any question you have. We get on there twice a month, and we break down everything that you've got going on. We celebrate your wins, and we figure out what is, like Mackenzie with that $39 AOV. We figure out like, hey, let's get to the bottom of this and let's get you higher than that. And so they have unlimited access to me during those coaching calls. So that's really fun as well.
Awesome. Well, we are 15 minutes over an hour. So thanks everybody for hanging around.
Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I can't wait to see everybody in December.
Wrap it up. If you are brand new to PhotoDay, or maybe you haven't created your account yet, definitely create an account. It's free to sign up and kind of click around and get familiar with what we have to offer. If you want to schedule a demo with our team, we can definitely get on a one-on-one call and kind of go through everything, make sure you're successful for your first job. Our whole team, very hands-on, super helpful, ask us anything. We don't make money until you make money. So we're definitely want to help make sure that you're successful in any job that you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, thanks everybody for joining and being super active in the chat. And thank you, Lauryn, for joining and sharing a little bit about what you do.
I love you so much. I love all of you guys. I can't wait to see you guys in December.
I know, I'm excited. I hope a lot of these people from the chat are going, but
Courtney says encore. Let's stay another hour.
I might have to get a glass of wine for that.
Preschool photography after dark.
After hours.
After hours, exactly.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do another one a little bit later.
That would be fun. Anytime.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. We will be closing this down.
Bye.
Bye.